Hi everyone, today's video is just about some pixel rings that I bought off eBay. These ones have got 12 pixels on them. They're the WS2812B type, which is the RGB LED. It's 5 volts with the WS2811 type pixel driver in it. So all you need is 5 volts and data and away you go. So it's got going from there, it's got data in, +5, ground and data out of the ring. So what I've done is I've made up 2 of these units, and I've got the wiring organised in such a way that the data comes from this little pixel tester over here and goes off to the first unit, up 2 meters of cable roughly, back down here to the junction, and then off to this second pixel unit. So the data between pixels is actually travelling 4 meters. So this is doing much better than what I thought they'd do. So to assemble these, I'm going to sort of spray some lacquer or something over the back of those, wait till that dries, and then silicone it down and just pull that through the cable gland. So I bought the 12 pixel unit simply because I needed something that was big enough that the nut for the cable gland would clear the inside diameter. The 8 pixel version will probably just fit, but this is easier, and I think it centers the LEDs in a better position to give the best amount of light out of there anyway. So originally I didn't actually even need or want full control over all the pixels. I just wanted them all to be one color for these tubes, but I can control that in software anyway, so that's not a big deal. So these are the tint tubes. This one's a bit discoloured now. It's been out for 2 seasons. So the idea is that'll get siliconed in and sit nice and flat there on a little bed of silicon, and that goes in like that, and there's 2 screws, and then they just hang in the trees and shine light down. So I'll just turn that on so you can see the pattern that's been generated by the little pixel tester I've got over here. So you can see it's doing its thing. So the effect, I mean, you can sort of see it going around. It's very obvious there that it's going around in a circle with the pattern, but once you get it into the tube, it's not so obvious there. So but I'll just drive them as 3 channels probably, unless I can do them alternate channels, or one half and the other half. Maybe that might be some interesting effects, but I can play around with that in software anyway. So it's not really a big drama having a lot more channels than I originally anticipated. In these tubes before, I had just straight one little module similar to this that I'd made, except they had a little pick chip on them that did its own patterns. They just did them with power applied, whereas these ones I made them as WS2811, data in, data out, a little line driver and everything. Sort of fairly fancy version of it, but in reality these take time to assemble, and the parts cost for what these cost me to make and knocking around in time. I can just go and buy these pixel rings for about $3 on eBay. They probably cost about $5 in Australia, these things, but buy them from eBay and get them delivered from China. They're only about $3, I think they were. So if this is the 12 pixel one, you can get them in different size rings. There's a single pixel. I'm not sure what the next size is. I think there's a 3, maybe a 6 or something like that. Then there's an 8, a 12 and a 16 and probably a 24 pixel or something like that. So I didn't want it to go all the way to the edge because I've got the tube that's got to sort of mesh in there, close to there, so I needed some gap there. Could have gone for a bigger one, but that just would have been more channels. Yes, it would have been a bit brighter, but probably no huge advantage there. Could have maybe gone smaller, gone to 8 pixels, but would have been less light output, and it might have been quite tight to try and get that to sit in there, get the wiring to dress down in the nice sort of spot there. So I'm going to silicone those in place in due course and do some more testing, but that gives you a bit of an idea what you can do with these tint tubes. And that's just a plumbing cap. That's I think it's a DWV 80mm cap. So you've got to get the DWV bit because that means it's 80mm on the inside there, which is, I think these are just slightly under 80. These are like 78 or 79 or something like that on the outside diameter. So they do fit without too much slop at all. And I just got a couple of screws that hold them together, and that way when the tint tubes invariably go discoloured after a few years, like this one has. This one's sort of got sort of a bit of a mess on it now, and discoloured from the sun, plus birds being all on it, things crawling all in it. So I can just go and cut up a new piece of tint tube, poke it in there, drill the holes through, screw a new piece on, it looks like brand new again. So yeah, overall the data there seems to be going quite well there, from one pixel ring to the next, down about 4 metres of cable in total, data wise. Power's only having to go down 2 metres cable, because it's sort of it's joined at the centre piece, which will be at the pixel distributor I'll have at the centre of the tree, and then these will just radiate out and I can just hang them wherever. I'll just make them all 2 metres or thereabouts, and I can just hang them to the underneath the branches and let them sway in the wind. They look quite good last year with the just 3 LED versions, with that version, except it had the inbuilt program built onto it. This way I'll be able to at least control them centrally, so that and the new Meteor tubes will make a bit of difference. I think it'll look quite nice. So there you have it, something interesting. Might be able to use it in your display.